Something magical happened on live television. And it wasn't just another performance. It was a cultural moment. Sabrina Carpenter, the pop star who's been quietly climbing her way to global domination, just turned Saturday Night Live into her own glittering, heart-thumping stage. With only a bikini, $2,000 in cash, and an attitude that screamed, "I made it," Sabrina didn't just host SNL, she owned it. And by the time the final note hit, fans weren't just clapping, they were witnessing the birth of the next pop powerhouse. But this wasn't just another celebrity gig. This was a message, loud, confident, and dripping in star power, that Sabrina Carpenter has arrived, and she's not going anywhere. For years, Sabrina lived in the shadows of giants. From her early Disney Channel days to being labeled the next Olivia, the next Ariana, or the girl who dated a pop heartthrob, she was constantly compared, constantly overlooked. But on this night, she wasn't anyone's understudy. She was the moment. The world didn't see a Disney alum. They saw a woman in command of her art, her narrative, and her power. Before walking into Studio 8H, the legendary home of Saturday Night Live, Sabrina told close friends and insiders that she wanted the night to feel like a gift, not for anyone else but for herself. It was more than just another gig. It was symbolic, a full-circle celebration of her journey from a teenage dreamer to an international sensation. She had once performed in small-town theaters, unsure if anyone would ever hear her voice. Now she was performing live on one of the biggest stages in entertainment, knowing everyone was watching. When Sabrina stepped out on stage, she wasn't performing to prove a point. She was performing to feel something, to make the world feel it too. And from that very first second of her cold open, she turned the entire studio into a fever dream of vintage glam, humor, and musical brilliance. Wearing sparkles and radiating confidence, she channeled Taylor Swift's storytelling grace, but added her own brand of playful chaos and emotional depth. Her Domingo rendition of The Fate of Oilia left the internet in meltdown. It wasn't just performance, it was performance art. She hosted, she sang, she flirted with the camera, she owned every beat, every note, every second. The girl who once sang about being skinny dipping in emotions was now diving headfirst into cultural relevance. And yes, she pulled double duty like a seasoned legend. Sabrina Carpenter gave the world not one, but two show-stopping moments that left fans speechless and social media ablaze. Almost instantly, the reaction was explosive. Within minutes, Jacker Sabrina on SNL became the top trending hashtag worldwide. Fans flooded X, formerly Twitter, with reactions that ranged from disbelief to pure admiration. One fan wrote, "Sabrina just made SNL feel like the Grammys." Another declared, "She's giving what pop's been missing." Even her fellow celebrities couldn't resist joining in. Taylor Swift's team reportedly sent a stunning bouquet of white roses to congratulate her on her big night. Selena Gomez's stylist reposted Sabrina's look with the caption, "The Moment." And the music industry's most respected publication, Rolling Stone, dropped a review titled, "Sabrina Carpenter just became a legend." The media couldn't stop talking. Entertainment reporters, critics, and bloggers all said the same thing. It wasn't just the songs that made the night special. It was her presence, her control, the way she used every look, every pause, every note as if she were telling the audience, "You've underestimated me for too long." But behind all the glamour, there were secrets, subtle details, and emotional layers that most viewers missed. Insiders close to the show later revealed that Sabrina Carpenter personally rewrote sections of the opening monologue to include hidden references to her own journey and struggles. The much talked about bikini scene wasn't just a stylistic choice, it was symbolic. A visual metaphor for shedding the good girl image that Disney had boxed her into years ago. And that envelope filled with $2,000 in cash? That wasn't random either. It was a playful nod to her song Espresso, which became an anthem of independence and confidence. She was saying, without words, "I'm my own boss now. I pay my own way." There was also a deeply emotional moment backstage that not many people knew about. Right before her second performance, Sabrina was overheard telling producers, "I love creating. I love how it makes people feel. I love how it makes me feel. This isn't work to me, it's joy." That single quote spread among staff and crew like wildfire because it summed up what everyone was witnessing. An artist who wasn't chasing fame. She was living her passion, and her passion showed in every detail. Insiders revealed that the entire arrangement for her second song was rewritten just hours before the live show. Sabrina wanted the sound to feel cinematic. like a movie scene where the hero finally gets her spotlight. She wanted the audience to feel that triumph, that emotional high of breaking through. And when she performed, you could see it. She was the movie. Crew members from SNL even shared that Sabrina was one of the hardest working hosts they've had in years. She stayed late during rehearsals, personally worked with the band, tweaked camera angles, and fine-tuned lighting cues to perfection. She wanted to make sure every frame looked exactly how she envisioned it. That wasn't ego. That was legacy building. And now the world is seeing the results of that dedication. Since her SNL appearance, streams of Sabrina Carpenter's music have skyrocketed. Industry analysts report an increase of more than 60% across major platforms. Brands are reaching out with multi-million-dollar deals, and sources close to her team say she's already in early talks to headline Coachella 2026. This performance was her statement piece, her announcement that she's done waiting for validation. For years, she's been the almost girl, almost famous, almost taken seriously, almost breaking through. But that night on SNL, she wasn't almost anything. She was everything, and it's not the first time the world has seen a pop star reinvent themselves right before our eyes. Britney Spears did it with I'm a Slave for You, Lady Gaga did it with Joanne. But what makes Sabrina Carpenter's transformation so unique is that she did it without scandal, without chaos, and without losing her sense of self. She redefined what pop stardom looks like in 2025, poised, self-aware, creative, and authentic. Her night on Saturday Night Live now joins a short list of cultural resets, moments that stop the internet in its tracks. Just like Beyoncé's Lemonade, or Adele's comeback on SNL in 2008, or Miley Cyrus's infamous Wrecking Ball era. These moments aren't just performances, they're declarations, and for Sabrina, this was her declaration of dominance. When the final act ended, and the lights dimmed on Studio 8H, Sabrina smiled into the camera one last time. That look, calm, confident, radiant, wasn't a goodbye, it was a promise that this wasn't her peak, it was her beginning. As the credits rolled, fans could be seen in the audience wiping tears, smiling, shouting her name. Online, millions replayed the clips, dissecting every lyric, every look, every symbol. Some called it a masterclass in self-reinvention. Others simply said, pop culture just shifted tonight. And they're right, because that night on Saturday Night Live, Sabrina Carpenter didn't just entertain. She inspired. She showed the world that no matter how many times people try to label you, limit you, or define you, the moment you take control of your story, everything changes. From a young girl who once dreamed of stardom in a small Pennsylvania town, to a global icon standing under the bright lights of New York City, Sabrina Carpenter has written her own fairy tale. And the best part? She's only on the first chapter. From Disney kid to SNL headliner, from heartbreak songs to empowerment anthems, she's living proof that sometimes the sweetest revenge is success.